discount on PS5 from KBB.com's best value brand of 2020. Get those right miles for California and save like never before. Just ask anyone who owns a Honda.
Do yourself a favor. Get yourself a Honda.
Hurry! Nortel Honda's 20 days of Black Friday ends November 10th.
Oh, bro. You look shook, bro.
And he can't hit the second.
One thing about Porter Jr. you talk about is consistency, and that is just not on the floor. It's about his health and availability to his team so he can show off the multi-talented game he does have.
That is a product of pure effort, guys.
I agree, and that's nothing new coming from him, GA. He loves going to work on the rebounding, going to work on the board.
Stick with fundamentals there. Shot goes up, box out, or he'll destroy you.
Jackson passes to Embiid. Jokic grabs the miss. The Nuggets trail by 3. The dish to Morris. Millsap has the open look, and the 3-ball is good.
Well, Millsap is such an all-around great talent. Range is just another tool in his toolbox.
Simmons against Morris, and that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Simmons. Here's Craig. Pass to Jokic. He dishes it to Morris. Plumlee sets the pick for Morris. Here he goes. Good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
And that play never gets old. The pick and roll will still be an offensive staple 100 years from now. Trust me.
And Shaq, everyone knows you produced immediately when you came to the NBA, winning Rookie of the Year. So, did you ever have a welcome to the NBA moment that you recall?
Actually, but it wasn't in the NBA. The year before, we played against the greatest college team ever assembled, the UNLV Rebels. Greg Anthony, Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon.
What a team.
We weren't supposed to win that game, but we won that game. And you know it's all about confidence. Listen, everybody can play, but the guys that have the more confidence are the guys that are going to go out there and do it. We won that game.
What is that? I had forgotten how great.
What's that about? Take a break. Take a break. Do something. You don't miss. Watch. Off there, bro. Believe in you. You can make the next one.
I'm not taking calls on Harden. I'm taking calls on Westbrook. Until Harden stops showing up, I'm not even talking about trading James Harden. He's been, if not one of the best NBA basketball players offensively in the entire league. But Joe, that's not the only big news we have in the NBA. The Lakers, the champions, have made a move in theory. Basically, Danny Green and some other pieces for OKC's Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder, if you were paying attention, had a great year last year. One of the league winners in the year. What does the addition of Schroeder mean for the Los Angeles Lakers? It solidifies them at the position because he can finish games, so he can finish defensively, he can make an open shot, but also he can come off the bench. And his youthful enthusiasm and his athleticism is going to be something that allows the team to continue to play fast.
And so it's Murray with it. He brings it up for the Nuggets. 4-point game. At the conclusion of this game, they're off to Minnesota where they'll take on the Timberwolves. That will be...
That's fine. No problem.
Jackson is out there with Joel Embiid, and it's Robinson in at the small forward position. Shaq, something fans are always curious about. They see the huge contract that can put pressure on a young man, suddenly being able to buy whatever he wants. And that's a pretty interesting topic.
Yeah, you know, everyone's coming at you from every direction. I think some people assume that you have more money than you really do. I just want you to remember one word: FICO.
To the middle. Here's Jackson. Not going to go that time. And the Nuggets going the other way. Jokic high post. He had 27 points last game. He goes up again. The kick out to Porter. 6 to shoot. Pass to Harris. He nails it, and we're tied up.
They're scoring boatloads of buckets. It's raining buckets from inside.
76ers shooting at 50% in a decent group. Robinson against Porter. It's tipped. Jokic with the steal. Pass to Murray. The three. Gets the three-pointer to fall. Murray's got the lead up to 3 now for the Nuggets.
Well, if Murray can do that and become a threat from the three-point line, look out.
Outside Jackson. Off the run, and that one clearly a foul. Gets the
Okay, stay in front of me. Y'all want me to show you how it's done? It's too strong for y'all. You gotta hit the weight room, man. Appreciate you. Let's keep the ball moving, boys. Y'all want to play ball or just foul out there? I'm good with whatever. Just let me know.
He hits one and misses one, each at the line. Jack, you played on some great teams with a lot of other great players. Who stands out as maybe the best of the best you played with?
I don't like to isolate these guys, but I just say I was lucky enough to have a three amigo set. Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, and D-Wade. Towards the end of my career, I got to play with LeBron James and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, but I was a little too old now.
I tell you, big fella, a lot of people forget just how special Penny Hardaway was because of the injury.
He was special.
Second shot opportunity, and Embiid finishes inside. Embiid's got the game tied up here for Philadelphia. And we're now a little over 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Jokic, no good. 76ers have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. In the corner, it's Robinson. Millsap's against Jackson. And he tried. There he goes!
You don't want to be jumping on a play like that. No. Wow, he was up there, Kevin.
Oh, and he got fancy with that one.
Yeah, maybe trying to give them the momentum boost they need to break this game open. Over to the wing. Millsap kicks to Murray. 6 on the shot clock. And the shot goes in.
At Domino's, you can carry out 3-topping pizzas for just $7.99 each. And with Domino's Carside Delivery, you can conveniently stay in your car while you do it. Just pull up, check in online, and we'll quickly bring your food to you.
Thank you.
So you don't have to get out to get carry out. Like Denny here.
Hey, Hamlin. I like your PJs.
PJs. Stay in the driver's seat with Domino's Carside Delivery.
Metro has the best deal in wireless, so you can rule your day. Get unlimited data with 5G access included. $35.
Murray's got 5 points in the quarter.
That's a tricky little move there. Murray found a little bit of space and then got that floater off.
Jackson against Millsap. And the dunk by Embiid.
Oh, an aggressive move and fantastic finish.
Trying to send a message with that slam, I think. Simmons against Murray. Jokic with the screen on Simmons. Goes back up. It's hauled in by the 76ers. And here's Jackson. He's got 14. Here's Robinson. And the basket is good.
Great take, bro.
That one misses for Robinson. Jack, you always play with a lot of passion. Is it possible to play with so much fire that gets the best out of you? And if so, who in the league sometimes crosses that line and has too much of whatever that is inside that drives you?
You know, Greg, when we were playing, there's only one guy, Kevin Garnett. Now, in this era, you got to go with Russell Westbrook, Draymond Green, and Kyrie Irving.
And out of bounds as the Nuggets gain possession. Tobias Harris is checked in. And here are the Nuggets now. They trail by 1. Harris outside. And the pass to Murray. To the paint. And Millsap shoots it in.
And I like that from Murray. Not an extra dribble. Get the ball to the open teammate right away.
Simmons finds Jackson. That one, no good. Now Denver takes it the other way. They come in fresh off a win against the Heat.
I like their aggressiveness in that one. No one's going to give you anything. You've got to go out and take it.
And going back and watching that game, there was not one spot on the floor that they did not own.
Embiid with it. 14 points from him the last game against Utah.
And equally impressive on the backboards. I thought his rebounding was huge. Not really his best quarter as far as scoring. Let's see if he can eventually get back on track.
Now here is Harris. He's coming off a 10-point game against Miami. Here's Murray. And it's blocked by Simmons.
How about the balance and body control? Simmons able to send that one packing.
Jackson deciding where to go with it. Embiid with the screen on Millsap. Down low. And the dunk by Embiid.
What a scary sight. Joel Embiid with all that momentum taking it to the hoop, looking like a freight train. But one of the things you're most known for, Shaq, your destruction of backboards. Were you ever trying to bring down the backboard, or did it just happen?
Well, I had a lot of force, you know. I just wanted to bring it down. I think the game that comes to mind was...
that was something else!
And that's what Simmons does. His vision and accuracy make him a premier presence on the floor.
Murray against Simmons. Passes it to Jokic. And here's Harris from the arc. That one drops for his second bucket. Mark him 2 for 4. You talked about a back-and-forth game. This is the definition.
You have to love these kinds of games, scoring-wise, keeping everybody on their toes.
Back to Jackson. In the corner, it's Richardson. Here's the 3. Denver grabs the miss. Jokic has got rebound number 10 tonight with that last one. Jokic sets the screen for Murray. Inside, and Millsap's it in.
See, all you guards out there, when you attack the cup, good things happen. Millsap understands that and makes a great play.
Jackson, a screen on Porter. Harris kicks to Jackson. From outside, off the mark. The Nuggets lead by 4. Millsap dishes to Murray. They double him with Simmons. Here's Porter. That one wide left.
The defense better tighten up on the mid-range. They're much, much tighter. You expect him to make every single one of those.
And he's an awesome.
changes for Philadelphia.
Hopkins a little more of an athlete than the three guys who are trying to cover him. And at the end, and this is a little bit redundant, he puts the football in a place. You guys better not edit this out. He puts the football in a place that is very phallic in nature, and he shows everybody, look, I'm the man at the bottom of this pile. Don't tell me I'm wrong, because you will see on slow motion, he did that on purpose. The presence of mind to be in that situation, in that play, in the celebration was phallic in nature. The Arizona Cardinals are a step away from us discussing whether they blew that game because of what Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen did. Just 30 seconds
Denver's gotten half their shots from three-point range to go down in the second quarter. 3 of 6 from downtown. Murray with it. Now defended by Embiid. Murray kicks to Plumlee. That 3 off the mark. And so it's Burks bringing it up now for the 76ers. This game coming after a loss against the Jazz.
Yeah, on the road, you're already a little out of your element. Then the misses from the line become contagious.
Well, it can affect your confidence, not just as the player shooting, but the entire team. So defenses might get a little bit more aggressive, and then you got to think about the next free throw.
Murray surveying the D.
You're not going to see that very often. Plenty of space, but he just, let's face it, he whiffs on that.
Oh, tried to dunk it home, but drew the foul, and he'll go to the line.
It always feels like Cobb plays bigger than his size out there, especially when he gets inside. And the team appreciating all.
Here's Murray. 9 points in the game so far. Harris looking it over. Jokic sets the screen for Harris. Outside for Millsap. The Nuggets with another miss.
And they had some botched coverage that turned into no coverage.
Harris on the wing alongside Porter. Millsap and Jokic hold down the post for them. And it's Murray in at the 1. That's the group on the floor for Denver. Millsap a screen on Simmons. Feeds to Millsap. Over Jackson. And the rejection by Jackson. The finish. And the dunk by Jackson.
Great effort and gets in a little razzle-dazzle at the end of that one.
Yeah, why not? Show a little creativity, get inside, move that ball around, just make sure you score.
Pass to Jokic. Good, and the assist goes to Murray. Murray's got assist number 8 here in this one already. Millsap against Jackson. It's Richardson on the wing. Back to Jackson. Embiid against Jokic. Just 5 to shoot. Count it. Embiid's got the lead up to 5 now for the 76ers.
Well, when you have Embiid's height and heart, you're able to convert more of those contested shots.
Jokic with his screen on Richardson. Harris kicks to Jokic. Tries the spin move. That shot no good. Good work defensively by Richardson. Back to Jackson. And the dunk by Jackson.
I like seeing Josh Richardson distribute the ball, especially when his teammates are wide open. That makes for an easy pass.
Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively, for sure.
And it's Jokic missing.
Well, if he wants to make the defense work, he's got to start knocking down the threes. Only one so far in this game for him, and none since halftime.
The Nuggets trail by 7. And Porter, here we go. Here's Millsap. Some solid defense there from Jackson.
Time for some consideration in the passing category, maybe, Kevin. The shot is just not on. Get somebody else going.
The Nuggets shooting 31% here in the third. Offensively, they are looking bleak. Here's Porter, and the rejection by Embiid.
Length plus agility, great recipe for blocking shots. Embiid's one of the best to do.
That is the only way you can guard me, bro. You all trash. You got nothing. That's right. Oh, free money right here. Nice and easy there.
That one misses. The Nuggets trail by 8. Pass to Morris. Grant with a screen on Simmons. Morris kicks to Grant. And again, Denver no good. And so Simmons will bring it up for the 76ers. Jackson misses. The Nuggets shooting 47% from the floor. Getting it done. Here's Bost. Simmons pulls it in. The 76ers leading by 8. To the inside. Doubled by Plumlee. There's the pass to Thibault. Jackson in the corner. From 13. Now Thibault. He is still scoreless so far in this one. There's the triple. He doesn't hit that one. And the Nuggets going the other way. Morris kicks to Plumlee. Tipped away. Philadelphia's gone 1 of 4 in three-point shots here in the third. A shot by Burks. Nobody around. That's good. And it's Jackson with the assist that time. Jackson's got 5 assists tonight. Murray, the pass to Plumlee. To the paint. Jackson against Grant. The drive by Jackson. Passes it to Burks. It's hauled in by the Nuggets. Ways to get back into it, but some time.
The tendency can be to really rush or push the game. They need to avoid that.
Morris looking over the floor to the middle. Stolen by Jackson. And Simmons kicks to Jackson. A three-pointer off the mark. They're getting beat up pretty badly out there.
And I don't care what anybody says. You can't keep the status.
We gotta help each other, man. Yo, you wanna shoot that underhanded?
Switching to the new Puffer stand-side back.
Got a messed up shot, man. Who taught you how to shoot?
The game that he plays.
Here's what Philadelphia's going with right now.
But now, Ava's shoulders are stronger than ever. This is what Medicaid from Blue Cross Blue Shield does for Ava.
You're in.
Your plans with the blood. This is Medicaid from Blue Cross.
Outside, Robinson. Jackson down low. He's guarded by Plumlee. Robinson dishes to Jackson. Plumlee with the steal. Taking a look at the 76ers. The guard pairs, Simmons and Richardson. Jackson is out there with Robinson.
A chance to kick back and relax, recharge, and refill. Only you know what you need this holiday, and whatever it is, we can probably help.
Skip to cold relief fast. With Alka-Seltzer Plus, the beer Power Fast Fizz dissolves quickly, instantly ready to start working. So fast.
And it's Embiid in its center.
And running with a full head of steam, but completely under control.
Yeah, you think he's comfortable at that speed? He's done it so many times before. Just an absolute blur in transition, and that helps get the rhythm going.
Morris against Simmons. Plumlee, nice pass. Led him to the rack perfectly for the layup.
It's just what the doctor ordered here. Boy, have they needed him here in the fourth.
Out left to the wing. Outside, Robinson kicks it to Jackson. Pass to Richardson. Jackson against Morris. 5 on the clock. And they double up Jackson. Rebound by Murray. And the foul called on Junior. That will be...
My bad.
The Nuggets trail by 7. Outside Millsap. Count that one. Millsap's got 19 points.
And defensively,
All right.
And here's Simmons. He'll bring it up for the Philadelphia 76ers. They've held a 12-point lead earlier. Jackson passes to Embiid. That's good. And it's Jackson with the assist that time.
offensively, we see Embiid all over the floor. But inside is where he can really utilize that size.
Murray, the pass to Millsap. Good D by Embiid.
And you can see the defenders afraid to kind of get in his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the basket. But on that one, they were there. You can't let Simmons get going off of these dunks. His confidence just soars when he slams it down like that.
Murray finds Jokic. Looking to get back on track here.
Short. Look over here, bro. No, over there. No, over here. Over there. No, back over here. Over there. Check your man.
So he hits 1 of 2 from the stripe. Philadelphia leading by 8. Shoots from 14. It's hauled in by Harris.
Talk about hurting your team. I mean, he just can't get anything to go out there.
Millsap in the corner. No good with the triple.
It's been a struggle all night long from deep, but doesn't seem like he's lost his health.
What's the scoring record in this league? Shoot 2. Look, y'all take notes on this form. Settle down. I thought we were playing a varsity team tonight. Y'all are trash.
No good at the stripe this time. Second misses also.
And the charity stripe once again proving to be the Achilles heel for him. His free throws have been way off the mark.
Here's Porter. And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting.
Too strong, too strong. Box out, box out. Go to mid. Put your girl in the stands, man. What's your way?
And Porter drops them both. Philadelphia leading by 6. Jackson kicks to Robinson. Good ball movement here by the 76ers. Great open look there.
A good sense right there of Richardson understanding space and that he could get there. Nice pull-up.
The Nuggets shooting a respectable 47% from the field in this one. Pass to Jokic. And the rejection by Jackson. And it's sent back by Jokic.
Yeah, you like when Jokic is just active on the defensive end. More blocks, please.
Millsap finds Murray. Harris a screen on Simmons. Here's Jokic. Richardson cover. Out to Harris. Lets it go with the 3. Lets the 3 fly. He's off on that one. And Philadelphia the other way now. They've held a 12-point lead early. And Robinson wide open. He shoots. Off the mark there with the 3-point shot. Stolen by Jackson. And Jackson throws it down.
The Dolphins to field a football team because they're going to get the professional players in football games. Unethical, you call what the Dolphins are doing. We can do this again. We can do it again. I did not call it unethical. I called it morally reprehensible. And it was not because I was concerned about a player getting injured as much as I thought it was irresponsible to allow people to work their entire lives for free through college and everything to finally get this opportunity and then for you to throw it away. And that's not what they did. I was wrong. I was wrong about Chris Greer. I was wrong about Flores. I was wrong about that. But I was not wrong about the dumb fans who think it's a good idea. You would not be in this situation if they didn't out. You would not have the team culture.
Well, if you don't take care of the ball, fellas, that's what can happen.
Absolutely great. That makes the turnover even more painful.
And the gamble paying off.
And again, Denver no good. Philadelphia leading by 11. Driving inside. Porter with a block.
And, you know, as he learns the game at this level, he's going to block more shots. Porter has the length and the ability to move his feet.
And Simmons has got the ball here for Philadelphia. Outside Jackson from downtown. Embiid, the pass to Jackson. Porter with a block.
God damn.
Jokic against Embiid. Down low. Here's Millsap, and it's slammed in by Millsap.
Millsap has to do a lot, and tonight he's delivering on every level.
Millsap against Jackson. Embiid with the screen on Millsap. Good defense by Jokic. The Nuggets shooting at 42% in this final quarter. On the wing, Porter. To the paint. And it's Jokic missing.
Just not sure if he ran out of energy at halftime or what, but so far just not himself in the second half.
To the middle. Here's Embiid. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass.
And they came in determined to take this one. It's going to be a happy flight home.
Yeah, when you step into an opposing team's arena and you can play with this type of composure, boy, that food tastes good on the way out of town. Well, they brought the double team to force the ball out of his hands, but failed to rotate off the pass.
8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Jackson dishes to Richardson. Jackson against Millsap. Embiid sets the pick for Jackson. And there's the drive. Sweet little floater. Jackson's got 31 points.
And once they smelled blood in the water, you could see the killer instinct take over.
Yeah, up until that point, a competitive game, but once they broke through that barrier, it was all them. Complete control.
For three, Murray. Simmons with the defensive effort. Junior fires from way outside.
Fantastic game tonight, Junior. They couldn't stop you out there. How'd it feel?
Oh, baby. Felt tough and ready. Like a Kia SUV.
You've been waiting for that one, huh?
Let's just say, tough and ready.
Oh, excuse me, Junior. Do you have a minute?
Oh, yeah. What's up, Mike?
I just wanna ask you something here.
Uh-oh. Lowering your voice, man. What you about to ask me now?
I'm just wondering, is there any truth to this Cobb trade rumor? Because I have a source that says they're looking to move him.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Are you sure? Because I have two sources that say that management is looking at you as the future now. They've been so impressed with your play, they're trying to trade Hendricks to balance out the roster.
Oh. That's news to me.
Well, listen, I know you're good friends with Hendricks, but it looks like he's out of here. Do you have any reaction to that?
No. No, I don't, man. Look, I don't respond to rumors or else I'll be talking about hypotheticals all day. You know, our team is our team, and until something changes, I'm always ready to rock with who we got.
All right, well, thanks for talking to me, Junior. Appreciate it.
Discounts on 19 brands.
Come visit our motto year-end sale.
Trucks, hybrids, new and used vehicles. The Elk Grove Autoland is here to save you money. Highly questionable.
Wanted to go to the pros, they fell in love with the flows. Hooping was all that I love, they fell in love with the. I was just trying to be Kobe, they fell in love with the dope. I gotta get it by any means, hustle is all that I know. I used to study the grades, I used to play back they tape. From Kobe to Tupac to Michael, from Nas to Magic to Nate. I used to dig in the crates, I couldn't stop, had no brakes. Surrounding myself with the red, excluded myself from the fake. Took up my anger with ball, healed up my pain with the bars. Ain't talking, I'm talking lyrics that's hard. Just started, they used to say I was hard. My flow was out of this world. I'm talking Venus and Mars. Now I just ride foreign cars. Now I just stack up. I gotta make it for real. I do whatever it takes. Failure's no option to me. Learned that from Lurbanks and Nil. Hustle, it gotta be grand. I learned that from Tip. I keep the try my best not to slip. I try my best to hold on. I tighten up with my grip. It took some time to get here. I ain't blow up off the rip. And I'm still chasing my dreams. Chasing the door, make it flip. I'm still hoop dream. Dream I would be in the league. Dream of them chanting my name. Andre for MVP. That went away after a while. I fell in love with the tea. I fell in love with the music. Music is all that I need. Dreams. I was just a young. Was on dreams. I was just a young. Was on dreams. I was just a young. Was on dreams.
Just with some dreams. Anything for a dub. Had the highest confidence, man, everyone was a scrub compared to me and Dre. We was the hottest in the city. They stopped sneakers up and went to war for college recognition. Facts, Dre was my shooter, I'm pass first, let my eat. I used that same mentality, brought it to the streets. Do anything to see my get ahead. Life's a gamble, bet on black and make sure that you tread softly. Hoop dreams, I had visions on making it the pro. Was therapeutic, I had to use it to calm my soul. Was my it kept control, got me. Every time I used it, it took my soul. Hoop dreams, I had visions on making it the pro. Now I'm doing music, I really do this to hear my flow. Went from breaking they ankles, rocking them to the flow. Now I'm rocking mics at every show.
I used to hoop dream, dream I would be in the league. Dream of them chanting my name, Andre for MVP. That went away after a while. I fell in love with the tea. I fell in love with the music. Music is all that I need. Hoop dreams, I was just a young. Was on hoop dreams. I was just a young. Was on hoop dreams. I was just a young. Was on hoop dreams.
Always working hard, I just got it in my jeans. Think so much, I think my brain is burning calories. I'm mostly quiet, but I'm always wildin' when to you it's fantasies, but to me it's just last week. I don't never stress, none of that from yesterday. At 9 I got a date, told her that she could pick the place. Don't tell me what to say, this is night and day. I thought we wasn't Bali, feel like holidays. I spend my day with a smile and with my soul and type, but you just spent your day on simping, hoping that she gon' call you back, yeah. Stop answering all the questions when nobody asks you, geeking when you winning, and it shows me you ain't used to that, yeah. My life is starting to look like a completed bucket list, and you know you want some trouble if you're gonna I exist. I've been winning and I know that's what you hate to see. I feel like I'm 6 foot tall whenever you stand next to me. Yeah, my schedule's packed, I got a pool, I haven't swam in it. Like, yeah, I'm on a date, we watching Bear beside she loving it. Like, hey, yeah, hey, I like to keep my dates affordable. Like, hey, yeah, hey, that's why I got on Forbes' article. Like, hey, you like to hate, but you can't walk a mile inside my shoes. I'm schooling all these rappers, but I never went to school. You say you rolling deep, those numbers about to get reduced. I came from Indonesia, but inside I never moved. Always working hard, I just got it in my jeans. Think so much, I think my brain is burning calories. I'm mostly quiet, but I'm always wildin' when to you it's fantasies, but to me it's just last week. I don't never stress, none of that from from yesterday. At 9 I got a date. Told her that she could pick the place. Don't tell me what to say. This is night and day. I thought we wasn't Bali. Feel like holiday.
I just been naughty like Molly at parties. I need to get on the phone when that's just obvious, it's an eclipse. I'm shining that shade in the foreigner, driving that German British in eclipse. That's the old Mitsubishi, my flow like Rikishi. I flow like a buoy, Masubi's and the bitches will be in my pinky. Yeah, she be sleepy, I be creeping, secret keeping, peeping, money sweeping, then we leaving, back to thieving. Yeah.
Always working hard, I just got it in my dreams. Think so much, I think my brain is burning calories. I'm mostly quiet, but I'm always wildin' when I to you it's fantasies, but to me it's just last week. I don't never stress, none of that from yesterday. At 9 I got a date, told her that she could pick the place. Don't tell me what to say, this is night and day. I thought we wasn't Bali, feel like holidays.
Top 4 contender in the West? Absolutely not. So I think even they're locked to make the playoffs. No. But I think, him combined with that talent that we're 8-0 in the bubble will have a chance to be a team that wins every game.
Kamikaze.
And that's what we want from them.
Money's cooler.
So where do you see
BOG. Leicester City.
I mean, ceiling?
Come dog, I'm that guy. From the east, not Shanghai. Talk my own slang. BOG no. Come dog, I'm that guy. From the east, not Shanghai. Talk my own slang, BOG no. Don't make me out as a bad guy. One plan is a give it a cam dog that time. Cost up a man. One by one out of cash pay. Can't see me, that's a glass eye. White shirt and a black tie. Come through looking like magpie. And don't act like you're this guy. Little man, that's a disguise. You man are wet, need a drip dry. Don't indirect or imply. You me when pigs fly. Man know the code that we live by. Everything on the incline. Hype was man, can't strip mine. Cam dog, I'm that guy. From the east, not Shanghai. Talk my own slang, BOG no. Cam dog, I'm that guy. From the east, not Shanghai. Talk my own slang, BOG no. Cam dog, I'm that guy. From the east, not Shanghai. Talk my own slang, BOG no. Cam dog, I'm that guy. From the east, not Shanghai. Talk my own slang, BOG no. Yeah, I'm back on my home turf. Don't push me, it won't work. Not the type to be coerced. Ain't no, I don't go. If I'm all black, then that's covert. Talk bad, but don't know dirt. I don't put me up or grow first. You don't know qualms, you don't know. You don't know skits. You got no clout, you got no chicks. Ain't even known in your own bits. I don't talk, you can hold. Still M on the BOG, I still honor that. Took my town and put it on the map. So don't give up if you holler back. I'm that guy. From the east, not Shanghai. Talk my own slang, BOG no. Cam dog, I'm that guy. From the east.
Big news of the day, it's Chris Paul going to Phoenix. Nana broke the story. The NBA insider here at ESPN, senior NBA insider. Dropping a Woj bomb today. Woj joins us here on the jump. So Woj, can you give us the details of this particular deal and how did this all come about?
Well, Sam Presti in Oklahoma City, as you guys were talking about, and gathering up all these assets, he's worked with
Straight swag. Now I've been running my foot on the pedal, racing for the track. Money to motivate, cause I'm seeing race and some jets chilling in the back. Feeling like Tom Brady, how proof it in the booth, I'm grooving like. No, I'm so anti that put all the pussy women in the pillar pal like a shot. Watch out, Marley. I'll call it Chris Crawley. Put with the tape for the sporty. It's also quite often. I'm only judged with the promise. How many hockers are lobbies? I'm being honest. Back mama at the progress. I need a milli ticket in the safe with a pound and a million sitting in it. I got the splash, whipping with the drip. Lil' Kyle sauce and riding with the waves. I got the heart of an egg, no, this ain't no Atlanta, but how I push it, I'm the brave. I got the turn and push up on the place. Hit me with the hype, like we at the. I hustle hard for residuals. I go hard up the court like umbilicals, harder than physicals. I'm good, I'm too nice with the synonyms. I ain't too far to a 9 to 5 minimum. I want an out kid and I'm pushing forward. That's from Robert Dory 3 and final moments. You ain't fitting right to my opponents. I be the question to my opponents. Hitting with Iris and moves in the tuck. Feeling like Giannis right out the bucks. Feel like a Titan and swing out the truck. Still have conviction, I'm with the clutch. Remember when Michael fake dunked and laid it. Mellow back with the D nuggets, he slayed it. Russell Westbrook, split with the bounce. Kevin Durant,
man, I'm nailed to it like a rat police. I got mad seats full of smack beats, cut like peas, this another trees. I got flood seats to my rap meets. My craft perfect like a snug cheese, raising neck hairs through the draperies. Get your blood racing for that cake feast. Hustler, I'm pulling hard. Get to the money, I'm chiming hard. Simon C's winning, I'm chiming hard. Built for the game like I'm London hard. Pull the floor, I know we hustle for it. Don't you play?
Yo, what's up, man? Work with players and agents and get those things done. And that was what more doors for.
I see you out there doing work.
The next 5 drafts, they have 2 first-round picks on Wednesday night, and then if you go through the next 4 or 5 years, they have to go through the 3 first-round picks. They need to go to England. Listen, they may not use all those picks, but what those picks give you is a chance to go and chase big players and trades, to move up in the draft and have multiple picks. You know, that might get you high into the lottery in a year when there's a particular player you're chasing. So
let's go! Phenomenal win. You should be proud of yourselves. Let's get to work so we can keep this positive energy. We really need to push the tempo and get out in transition more. Today, we're going to work on being more efficient at running our breaks.
Well, first of all, this was free agency. They did that with opt out. But get a shooter is a superior player to those they had last year. This is a player who very much was in demand on the trade market. Milwaukee was very interested in landing Dennis Schroeder. It was certainly a blow to the Bucks that he goes to the defending champion Lakers. But this is a player who can play defense. With the spot-up shooter, and listen, for the Lakers to go and get Danny to get Shooter in, he's got a year left on his deal. They're in position to be able to re-sign him in free agency if all goes well. That was a big pickup for operation. Well, before we let you go, we got to ask you about James Harden. You reported that the Brooklyn Nets are a top party was the first destination that you were to get dealt. Have talks escalated to the extent that these front offices are really starting to get engaged? Brooklyn and Houston have not really engaged in trade discussions. For the Nets, what is the price would be for James Harden? I think the idea of giving up multiple picks and pick swaps going years forward, like they did with the Kevin Garnett trade, that's not how I believe the Nets would want to do business on this one. But I think if there's a package with some of the other assets, I think there's a conversation to be had. I think a lot of this process, Jordan, is going to come down to how badly James Harden wants out. Or else they have to have does he amp it up? I think that will dictate how trade talks may go.
Good. All right, let's move on.
Dropping bombs all the time. He's the best in the business. Adrian Wojnarowski. Well, thank you so much. We always appreciate your time. Thanks, George. Thanks, Dave. All right, there he is. So, Dave, a lot to discuss here today. Look, we have Zach. We have Zach already. Okay, we're joined here. Dave McMenamin, Zach Lowe with us now. So let's start with you, Zach. What was your initial reaction to Chris Paul?
Man, I can't even watch this.
Okay, maybe we don't have Zach. You and I were just not surprised at all this rumors going around now. It makes some degree of sense. Yeah, I'll jump into it. Obviously, Zach, as you mentioned, this has been talked about for weeks now around the league, and it came to fruition. And to me, it also speaks to not just what the Suns are doing, but what the modern NBA is. This is the fifth team that Chris Paul will have played for, the Hornets and the Clippers, and of course the Thunder and the Rockets. And in my opinion, he will be great for all 5 of those teams. And in another area,
get the next
you could say that by the time our player, Chris Paul, Zach was league, because of 15 on the Lakers team when Phil Jackson will not really play, but Chris Paul is still continuing to put the NBA as the point guard. Zach, welcome back. Sorry about that.
Way to finish strong. Let's set up this next drill.
I was surprised the Thunder got that 2022 first round pick, and I think it's a little surprised to me. When Sam
to get picks for Russ, and then flip KP for more picks. They'll probably flip Kelly Oubre for more picks. It's like obscene. It's completely obscene what he's done. But I like the pick for Phoenix. I think they're a playoff.
Keep it going.
I think they're making the playoffs in the West. I think what happened in the bubble was at least semi-real. I think that's something cooking there. And Chris Paul just wins. He wins everywhere he goes. He's one of the best clutch players in the league. He's a finisher. They're going to be good next year. Yeah, I don't know if there's any doubt. They'll at least be in contention, as you mentioned earlier, Dave. I think it'll be fascinating to see what's up with that particular squad. But they certainly put the center of the table here. Coming up, how does Dennis Schroeder deal impact Rajon Rondo's future with the Lakers? We'll get to that. But first, we're going to dish the replay from this game 2007 featuring Kevin Durant. Here's the activity of the back. Chance to catch it and shoot it.
There we go. Okay, let's move on to the next drill.
Everybody else. That's why Liberty Mutual customizes you.
Start it, man. Let's
So
get
you
started.
want to pay for what you need. What? Oh, I said.
Just like that.
It's just that it's... Yes, it is.
Now we're rolling. One more.
Now that we're done, get out there and put up some shots.
Are you ready for some football? This weird dead silence. How about now? Are you ready to get serious? Ready for everyone and everything to mean business? Are you ready to cut off the sleeves? ever. Well, the 180-degree turnarounds are ready. So are the 360-degree ones. Because everything is ready to matter, no matter what. Are you ready?
The Jump is presented by the new XPS 13. Every little thing is everything.
All right, welcome back to The Jump. I'm George Sedano in for Rachel Nichols alongside Dave McMiniman and Zach Lowe. All right, let's shift gears and get back to some of the big news in the NBA today. The Thunder have agreed to trade Dennis Schroeder to the Lakers for Danny Green, the 28th overall pick in Wednesday's draft. The trade can be officially finalized after the NBA draft on Sunday. Schroeder finished runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year last season, averaging 19 points and 4 assists per game. So, Zach, how much of an upgrade is Schroeder over Rondo, the lead guard for the Lakers? Well, there's final Rondo, and then there's like everything else. Rondo's unbelievable in the finals in the conference.
I see you out there doing work.
Schroeder, age 27. The Lakers just have no means to acquire a player this talented and this young in free agency. So I really like this trade for them more than most people seem to. He's a better shot creator for himself than Rondo. And you're going to hear a lot of people talk about how he's shooting last season. He shot 39% from three. That was a fluke. It was probably a little fluky, but I'll tell you this. Everybody looks good playing next to LeBron. I think he could make us look good. I think I might be able to shoot like 19% from three playing next to LeBron. I think he's going to make Dennis Schroeder look good. I think Dennis Schroeder's going to make his life a little bit easier. I understand Danny Green was a really valuable 3-and-D guy. I think he's slipping a little bit. And I think this is definitely a worthy move for the Lakers. And I think it'll work out for the Thunder too. Yeah, I mean, certainly the intangible part of Rajon Rondo cannot be overstated. The part of the story of the Lakers winning the 2020 championship is Rondo taking over a film session prior to Game 6 against the Heat and saying, hey, here's what we got to do to stop Jimmy Butler, and getting everybody on board, and then they went and acted out that game plan. And also he was the bridge between LeBron and AD and made sure both those voices had equal weight in the locker room. But when you look at where he is in terms of there will be a time where he gets up in age and won't be able to sustain it the way that Dennis Schroeder certainly can. And I love his mid-range shot-making ability. Obviously, Zach, you mentioned his three-point shooting ability. And he's a dog. He gets into, on the defensive end, you know, actually him and Rondo got into it last season and both got technical fouls, and Rondo got fined by the league because of it. I think that edge can help a group like the Lakers who need to find an edge. And sometimes we see with defending champs, they don't care that much for the regular season. Where does he slot in, though? He was, runner-up Sixth Man of the Year. Rondo was coming off the bench. Do they start him, Dave? We'll start with you. Yeah, I mean, I think all this depends on what Avery Bradley does. Now, certainly there is interest for Bradley around the league, and he would have to decide not to opt into the final year of his deal and explore free agency. If Bradley comes back, he's probably still going to start. We keep LeBron James at the starting point guard. Obviously, that went so well last season. And then you have Dennis Schroeder as one of the best 6 men in the league, as he proved last season. I agree with Dave. I think it depends on Avery Bradley. I assume KCP will come back. That seems like a foregone conclusion. Both those guys are back. You start them both. And then Dennis Schroeder becomes 6 Man of the Year. And really, he's going to finish a lot of games either way. And sometimes that was I think he'd probably bring him off the bench just like he was with the Thunder. But he's going to finish plenty of games. He, by the way, underrated clutch time season last year. All the focus in OKC was on Chris Paul. Dennis Schroeder's crunch time numbers were like off the charts good. Zach, where do you think Rondo ends up now? There's certainly been rumors about the Hawks. I think that's legitimate. The Clippers will take a look at it. It's interesting because on the one hand, you have a rebuilding team trying to make a leap. On the other hand, you have a contender trying to fill out their rotation. I think his play in the finals in the last 2 or 3 rounds of the playoffs really opened a lot of people's eyes. This guy's just a basketball player. People like to focus on his flaws. I've been guilty of it too. But when he dials it up in the playoffs, the guy just knows how to play. He knows how to make the right decision with the ball. He can help you win. I mean, quite frankly, because he's done so much in the game, there are times during the regular season where he'll appear bored on the court. I mean, that was part of what was going on with the Lakers last year, where sometimes they would have a play that works, and Rondo freelance because, his high basketball IQ, sometimes it's hard to keep it engaged in a situation where it doesn't have as much stakes. But certainly he could help a team like Atlanta. Perhaps he could stay in Los Angeles, go down the hallway and play for the LA Clippers because, who knows what they do with their bench unit, Lou Williams and Montrezl, perhaps make some moves there. But he's going to help the team out. And obviously this move with the Lakers trading for Schroeder shows that the Lakers don't believe LeBron will be a part of the team. Dave, you reported that KCP opted out his $8 million salary for next season. Will become a free agent. Is his time with the Lakers over, or do you think he'll be back? Right, as Zach just hinted at, no, I certainly don't think this means that he has one foot out the door, but it does mean that he's earned a better salary than what he was making. $8.5 million, obviously, in the real world, it's a great salary, but as a high-level NBA starter who was basically the Lakers' third best player throughout their playoff run, he should be looking at a salary in the $12 to $14, $15 million range. The Lakers, because they have his bird rights, can, offer that to him, or he could be an attractive sign and trade piece. The things might not be completely dead in terms of their interest in a guy like DeMar DeRozan in San Antonio. Somehow they need to get up to a certain salary figure to be able to acquire him, though, and that would, require them to put a big offer sheet in the lap of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So, what was just reported a little earlier with us, or talked to us about updating the James Harden situation with the Rockets. The Rockets star would list the Nets as his top choice via trade if he were to move on from Houston. How lethal the scoring combo with Harden, KD, and then, of course, Kyrie be at this stage of their careers? Zach, we'll start with you. I mean, obviously, offensively, look, people are going to make jokes about the Nets. It was already a soap opera waiting to happen to begin with. You throw James Harden in the mix, people are going to make jokes. People are going to make jokes about, are they going to play with two basketballs? And I get it. All three of those guys like to have the ball. But I think I'm more optimistic about the fit on offense than most people. And I think a lot of it depends on, is Kyrie Irving really willing to buy into being the third best player on the team? And sometimes the third option, a lot of times the third option. But KD has always been willing to sort of split time between ISOs and post-ups and then running around screens off the ball. And Harden is just amazing with the ball. He can't play a Harden ball anymore with those guys. He can't just dribble the air out of it. And I think he can tweak it that way. Offensively, I think it can fit. I think they'd be devastating. Defensively, there'd be some questions. What do they have to give up? I think would be the most important question. But I'm less worried about the only one ball problem than most people are. We'll see, though. I could be wrong. I think they can get James Harden. It automatically puts them as the number one favorite in the East if they weren't already. And really, in the short conversation of the teams that should win the championship, I think they figured out the issue about who gets the ball when, and a guy like Steve Nash being able to bring that harmony to a situation when he had guys like Sean Marion who wanted the ball more, and Amari Stoudemire wanted the ball more, when he had a team that was winning 60-plus games with the Phoenix Suns. I think it would just work out. I think they're all at the stage of their career where they got individual accolades. Kevin Durant and Kyrie both won championships where they were kind of the second fiddle to the Steph Curry or the LeBron James. This could be their own thing. Do it in Brooklyn. Come playoff time. I mean, you're going to put so much pressure on the defenses. And also think about this. LeBron said about James Harden in the playoffs this year, his best asset people talk about is his availability. He hardly ever misses games. You learn about two guys in Kyrie and Kevin Durant, certainly coming off the Achilles, that may not be ready to play a full 72-game slate. And I think having a guy like James Harden can really benefit you in the regular season slot you need to get a good seed for the playoffs. How likely is any of this, though, Zach? Is this just pie in the sky type stuff, or are we really looking at a potential scenario here where James Harden could be leaving Houston and could potentially be there in Brooklyn? Whether it's Brooklyn or Philly or whatever, I do not think this is pie in the sky. I think this has real legs. Now, the Rockets are going to say, we don't want to trade him. We want to keep him. And I get that. Like, the Rockets were a really good team last year. People laughed at the way they just sort of collapsed and slunk out of the playoffs against the Lakers, and it was bad. But they were really good. They would be within their rights to say, hey, let's have cooler heads prevail, run it back. But I think this thing with Brooklyn has legs. I think the Harden situation in general has legs. And to Dave's point, with Kyrie coming off an injury and Kevin Durant coming off an injury, to me, when you get a third star, you're always talking about, do we want our depth or do we want 3 stars? And then you got to do what the Heat always did, which is get guys to chase the ring on the veterans minimum and all that. The third star, to me, the trump card for most teams is it's the ultimate insurance against an injury to one of the other 2 stars. And that's exactly what we saw the year that Oklahoma City traded Harden. They were still an elite contender until the moment Russ got hurt in the playoffs, and then they had no hope. And to me, you just got to plan for injury. So I think if the price is right, I think the price will come down to draft equity and how far they can push the picks and all that. I think it's worth the risk for Brooklyn. Yeah, I mean, at some point, the Rockets have to look at what's happened to their team since the end of their run in the bubble and say, oh, we don't have a general manager, we don't have our coach. Coach of the Year a couple of years ago. There's been reports about Russell Westbrook perhaps wanting to be somewhere else, and obviously James Harden can see that, hey, I only have so much left in my prime, and I've done everything I can for this franchise, and I need you to help me out to put me in a position to succeed and perhaps compete for a ring before my prime is up. Zach, just the way you said it, this is not just pulling stuff out of thin air. There's some momentum here, and I expect it only to get more talk about it as we progress. To your point, Dave, with the Rockets, I mean, they are the cupboard is bare basically when it comes to draft assets and things of that nature. Right, rebuild. It probably is the time to do that now because James Harden is probably at the peak of his value. And if you're going to have to move on from Russell Westbrook, right, you're going to have to kind of figure some of that stuff out too. And with Brooklyn, the one aspect we haven't talked about is Steve Nash, right? I know he's got Mike D'Antoni on there with him as well as John Wall. But man, that's a lot to take in for a first-time coach. I'm certainly a guy that can handle it. Zach, you're sighing already thinking about the challenges that could present. He took one job, now it's going to be another job maybe, and then Kyrie already said we don't really have a coach, we all just collaborate. Steve Nash this is one heck of a first-time coaching job for Steve Nash. As Dave said, everybody's a coach, right? Kyrie said it too, no big deal. All right, coming up next, Victor Oladipo has come out and strongly denied rumors that he's trying to leave the Pacers. Does he still have a future in Indy? We'll discuss that next here on Jump.
The problem with me, with the conversation with James Harden going to Brooklyn, ain't going to be between, it's going to be him and Kyrie, Harden and Kyrie. Durant don't need the ball to get him up. That is, I'm 6'10", I'm 7'7" wingspan. If you can get up in the block this brother, then I'm good. I'm about to catch it here and put it up in the air and just putt it. Now, Kyrie and James Harden is going to be just like Westbrook and Harden, where it's going to be full court flat, pull up. Not 35, so you got that. That's what's going to be the problem with something like that. But new kind energy bar, it's whole grain oats with 35% less sugar than the leading Clif bar. Well, this is the thing. Now, when a child is diagnosed with a serious illness, so as Brooklyn, you don't know you have the opportunity to get home can change too. But along with your donations, McDonald's is helping Ronald McDonald House charities and Sam's together for over 40 years. So that not everything changes for Sam with cancer. Now that you can get your hands on James Harden, why don't you move Kyrie and send Kyrie to Houston?
Through the years, you guide and protect every step along the way.
Take the belt screen. Thanks, Mom.
Amiga is proud to do for you, earning your trust and delivering peace of mind. That's why we're the first insurance company to win 50 J.D. Power Awards for customer satisfaction. Experience Amiga, auto, home, and life insurance.
And that's another thing. And I don't think you can change this style of play because Maury is over here and Maury is watching that style.
Tonight, we begin this 2020 season playing in front of a bunch of cardboard cutouts. This is weird for you guys. Is this for us? 2.7 seconds remaining.
Yeah, like to me, the fact that Kevin Durant, like, they non-talks. So really, you should be talking about your 4 and 5.
You're ready for Chipotle? The Chipotle app is ready for you.
Look, that's
fresh and complete customization. So it's made exactly how you like it.
Robinson is a hell of a shooter too. And the only reason why I don't put Duncan Robinson is because he's been there that long.
Time to save. 20 days
Like,
of savings on every new
I
unit.
always like
Pay zero
that.
down on the all-new
I
CRV.
always thought
Pay
people
zero
that
down on HRV.
So,
From
I give
KBB.com
them a
Best
little
Value
leave,
Brand 2020. Get the right miles
and I
and
always
save
like
like never before.
Miller
Just
too.
ask anyone who
But the
owns a
thing
Honda.
is, Miller really showed up, and he
Hurry,
paid off.
North Carolina's 20 days of Black Friday ends November 29th.
You're ready for Chipotle? The Chipotle app is ready for you. Get all your favorites. Fast, fresh,
Murray, I mean,
customization. So it's made exactly how you like it.
he really showed up in that bubble,
Real
man.
food is ready. Order now for contactless carryout or delivery.
But that's what I'm saying. And see, like, when you ask me about a shooter as a real basketball dude, I need to get a dude on
The 74th annual
Duncan
NBA
Robinson,
is Wednesday.
as far as this shooter,
Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN.
you know what I'm saying? Like, but we ain't talking about Kyle Woodward.
Bristol, Connecticut. Barring a trade, the Timberwolves will have the first pick, followed by Warriors, Hornets, Bulls, and Cavs. Welcome back to The Jump. I'm George Sedano, in for our fearless leader, Rachel Nichols, joined by Dave Miniman and Zach Lowe. Let's check out today's keys to success, brought to you by Kia. Resetting our top story.
Yeah, and like with Durant, like the thing that I like about Durant is he's not really he like playing.
That's
He's only dribbling for a really. He doesn't necessarily have to serve really.
How good are they now with Chris Paul? I mean,
right? Like I don't see Harden to me can't get you 50 without the
recipient of those wonderful lobs that Chris Paul used to throw to Tyson Chandler back in the day. You see him hit another level to his game. You have Devin Booker, one of the best shot creators in the league, who will have the benefit of the confidence that he built for himself down in Orlando, and recognize that there really aren't people in this league that can stop me if I and he'll only get better. And then you have guys, as I mentioned earlier in the show, Bridges, who I love, who is, a championship type of guy at Villanova, who comes in with 3-and-D capabilities, who we put in positions to maximize his game by someone like Chris Paul, who knows all the nuances that can make a player better. And so you put that together.
That's his choice.
Who can really get through connecting with his players, and Monty Williams. I think that's a really good thing going on.
I can knock down 50 wrongs, right?
It's not a rock. It could be a playoff.
But you might not win the seat 48 up.
That should be better than every night. I like the move for Phoenix. I think it will help them.
Yeah, for sure.
Pick them to make the playoffs. I think I'm a little wary of your turn, my turn with Chris Paul and Devin Booker, but I bet they figure out some ways to keep it flowing. Aiton's going to be a stud on offense. To me, the question is, this team's going to be a top 10, maybe the top 5 offense. They're going to be a good offense. The question is, does Aiton develop fast enough on defense to get them to average-ish on that end, or do they have to spend whatever remaining cap flexibility they have, whether that's the mid-level exception and bringing back Dario Saric or going under the cap and exploding on somebody? Do they have to spend that on defense? Everyone's obsessed with them getting a stretch 4 like Gallinari or Bertans or somebody like that. I kind of want to tilt it the other way. Can they shore up their defense at all? Because I think offensively, with Chris in there, particularly late in games, I think this has a chance to be a really good offensive team. Zach, how much did the familiarity with Monty Williams play into this with Chris? I think it certainly played a role. I mean, Walt was talking about this before. Sam Presti at Oklahoma City has a track record of guys of this stature. He's not going to trade them anywhere they don't want to go. That means Chris was cool with Phoenix. He liked the situation. I'm sure Monty, whoever is almost universally adored in the NBA, good coach. I'm sure that played a role. Zach, let me ask you one more. I asked Dave this earlier about their ceiling. You have them penciled in as a playoff team. Obviously, it is the West. It's kind of crazy. What's their ceiling, the Suns' potential? I think their ceiling is probably something like the 5th or 6th seed. I mean, the West is an absolute bloodbath, and you have a lot of teams that can go up, go down, an injury here, injury there. I think it's going to be tough to crack LA, Denver, and then you can start penciling in some teams like, I think Utah will have a strong season, but I don't see any reason why, if everything hits right for Phoenix, like the rest of their cap flexibility, they spend it well, they stay healthy. Does Chris have quite the season he had last year? Let's say he has 5% worse. I don't see any reason why they can't be in that mix for 5, 6, 7 in the West as their ceiling. Interesting. All right, let's revisit the potential James Harden Nets trade that we discussed earlier ourselves. And Coach Woj has reported that Harden has the Nets atop of his list of destinations. Brooklyn were able to assemble a superstar big three of KD, Kyrie, and Harden. It'd be pretty daunting, certainly. So, Zach, where would you have them ranked in the Eastern Conference? If they pull that trade off, well, let's assume Karis LeVert goes out, Jared Allen goes out, Dinwiddie probably has to go out. They re-sign Joe Harris, they keep Torian Prince. They get a couple of veterans to come for the minimum or the tax mid-level. I like their Bruce Brown trade today. I think that team probably enters the season as the favorite to win the East. Maybe not the favorite to rack up the most wins because we've seen Milwaukee is a regular season win racket on the machine. But that team is scary. You can laugh at the only one ball. How are they going to do? They need to play two basketballs, blah, blah, blah. You can laugh at that if you want. No one's going to be able to guard that team.
Yeah, because I think there's going to be some people out there who say that, hey, what about Allen? What about Dinwiddie? What about Karis LeVert? You could just grow with those guys. You already have your true stars. But I think stars recognize how good stars are compared to other players. And I think they would give even more buy-in from guys like Kyrie and KD. And they recognize that they can't mess around with the regular season. They have to build what they need to build because both those guys have been on teams that have won the championship. And they recognize that those little seeds that you put in the ground, you're going to reap fruit from them when they grow in the postseason. And I just think they could work. So if they could do it, they'd be a juggernaut. They could stay healthy. And, quite frankly, you're talking about them, the Clippers and the Lakers as the favorites to win it all.
Well, and to your point, Dave, I think that first year is so important, right? And look, we've seen teams, even a team like LeBron, Wade, and Bosh, right? Like they felt like they were starting to come around, obviously, late in that season and in that postseason that first year in Miami. And then we saw what happened in Dallas, so nothing is a given. And then on the flip side of that, because they're not related, we saw a Clippers team that was also dealing with all sorts of injuries and whatnot, and guys coming off of injuries, and that was a big challenge. They never really got the chemistry that they needed. So that first year, to your point, would be unbelievably important. All right, rumors that Victor Oladipo is unhappy with the Pacers have been swirling since the bubble. It was a question whether or not he even played in Orlando this past summer. Last week, the Indianapolis Star reported that Oladipo was openly asking teams if he could come play for them in front of his Pacers teammates. Oladipo denied that in an interview with The Athletic, saying, quote, I know there have been some people saying that I've asked players to trade for me. It's just not true, period. I love my teammates. I cherish the state of Indiana. I'm focused on leading this franchise to a title. So, Dave, what do you think of Oladipo's future for Indy?
I think it's a really tough situation. It reminds me of the Cavs in 2017, 2018 when I covered them when they traded for Isaiah Thomas. He was another undersized guard. He used every single ounce of his athletic ability to make himself a force to be reckoned with in this game. And had a devastating injury, and he was trying to play his own game and trying to get back to a healthy level and recognize he has that anvil hanging over his head of, if I don't perform the way I need to, I will lose tens of millions of dollars. And it's really hard for a player to stay within a team scheme when he has that pressure on him. I think it's probably a better situation to be in if he stays in Indy because he will have familiarity there versus going somewhere else and trying to prove that. Because, of course, when Isaiah Thomas left Boston, it was all new and foreign to him in Cleveland. It didn't work out, and he even finished the season there. And so, I wish him well because when he was right, he was an emerging star in this league. This is just a really tough situation.
Yeah, he hasn't been the same since that injury in January 2019, and it was a traumatic injury. It was a horrible injury. It's not surprising. And last season he comes back, plays a few games, the season stops for 4 months. You almost want to throw that season away and just say it's not relevant. But look, there's been too much smoke here for months and months and months now, both publicly now and behind the scenes, for me to believe that everything is copacetic. And the tell will be if they get to the table for extension talks, something that maybe there was some possibility of, and then, the Athletic reported maybe not. Indiana can offer him a big extension, 4 years, about $113 million. I know Victor Oladipo has said, or has been reportedly saying he wants a max. I mean, that's $113 is a lot of money. If they can't come to the table at all, if they can't get within any kind of dollar range, I think that's going to be a tell that not everything is as copacetic as they would like it to be. Interesting. Coming up, I got to hang out with Georgia's Anthony Edwards at his recent pro day workout with Clutch Sports. We'll show you and discuss why he may be the #1 pick on Wednesday's draft. But first, here's what the Jump recommends for today. Check out the Woj Pod. Our own Andy Wojnarowski has a 3-episode series on the Giannis draft. He explores how a 2-time MVP fell all the way to 15 in the 2013 draft. Take a listen to an excerpt from this series.
The Kenyan, I was in France. This competition. What's his name?
Kenny Atkinson.
Kenny Atkinson. Yes. This guy. It was like there's a guy in the lobby looking for you. I went down. Like, who's this guy? This guy had his laptop like you. I had this Kobe clips. And I found that page. It was Kobe. It was Lakers playing. And he told me, I found this bunch of clips. And I'm looking. It's like, what would you do in this situation? Pass. What would you do in this situation? Pass. What would you do in this situation? Pass. But you like to pass, huh? Yeah, basketball. There's 5 people guarding Kobe. I'm like, basketball.
From the Roach Pod, this is the Giannis Room.
How about you?
No. No way.
Come on. No.
Only Discover has no annual fee on any card.
The first ingredient in this Cliff Bar is brown rice syrup, which is another name for sugar. In this kind bar is hard healthy almonds with the taste of dark chocolate and 75% less sugar than the leading Cliff Bar. Be kind to yourself.
Greetings, mortal. Your journey requires Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Wow, that will save lots of money.
This game is fun. Let's get tacos.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty. Wendy's didn't start the chicken wars. They just ended them. Introducing Wendy's new classic chicken sandwich. A sandwich so crunchy, so juicy, so delicious. Nothing beats this classic. Burn it down with Wendy's True Revival.
I did some early shopping this year. One for you, one for me.
I love it. I got us a little something too.
Yeah.
Yep. One for you and one for me.
I love it.
Oh, actually, that was supposed to be for
I
you.
love it.
And I loved it. You
I
loved
love
it.
it.
I like that. Step up to GMC and get $6,000 purchase cash on most 2020 Sierra Light Duty Crew Cab models. We are professional grade. GMC.
After the year we just had, what lasts gives us more? Time with loved ones, or simply a chance to kick back and relax, recharge, and refill.
How about you?
No. No way.
Come on. No.
Only Discover has no annual fee on any card.
I used to be number 10. How can I? Can we don't work it for me?
Xfinity Mobile's fast nationwide 5G network. First iPhone.